are encouraged to share this open source research paper.
An open source research paper shared by Nat Geo. It was antibacterial, purging 99.9% of everything. A dramatic shudder which seized-locks the lower spine. Sucking bone marrow. Developers are hidden in the lab. Peer-reviewed journals die between the walls of a crag. The process was described by some as a, quote, motion by some eternal snake, a long, thick creature with rough scales that writhes around time. Through the subconscious it sometimes penetrates. You see its underside, and sometimes its ghostly sibling, moving likewise just above it. His citation. The writhing of the snake corresponded to a process of reformed biology in the transceiver. Bracket, receiver, deceiver is the cyclical human model. As time passed through you from behind, it accumulated more and more scum on the cylinder. The water was not the catalyst, but the test tube. What happened then was that this process recoded your base form, and these were the consequences. You were possessed, but not as much as you thought. You were scraped by the motion wind and scales of the, quote, eternal snake, and this implies the existence of the wider snake, or it implies the existence of a non-understood process of sustain and self-meteor strike which anthropomorphizes this global force of that which shatters the inner, remakes, and leaves subject to its image. It goes without saying that people often fail to understand phenomenon. End quote. Second citation. The bones of remade people, the only real zombies of a process. Some suggest that, quote, a supposed side effect of the non-involved is that each shared a unique waking coma, remaining conscious forces in society, at the same time possessed by a benign psychosis that leaves them undeliberate, present yet ultimately absent. End quote. Third citation. However, with something as transmissible as this, it is incredibly unlikely that anyone is, quote, non-involved. It became clear that this process is cyclical. Aforementioned restructuring leaves space and impregnates with a germ which, perhaps not wants to spread, but induces spreading. Spreads and restructures. Varying degrees and dilutions of this externalized shaping will undoubtedly exist amongst everyone. The snake writhes between our two tongues as we try and snog. We try and breathe in each other's mouths as we find ourselves the opposite poles of one process. We taste the scales. The process unfolds. The process unfolds as you would expect. The seed's DNA can perhaps be traced back through recipients, but this is unsure, as the pool of subjects is too vast, data is too muddy. Instead, we suggest a theory of inner fingers plugging wounds. Those who for a variety of reasons haven't noticed, or haven't been willing to notice, the anti-human restructuring in their social skeleton, in turn feeding veiny wires into their physicality, may seem painfully separate from this global process, whether in their painful presence or painful absence. Bracket, their comfortable temperatures stick out like a sore thumb. However, they walk and transport with fingers pushed inside a drying wound, sealing it up from themselves, sealing it up from others as they do so. 2 fingers splayed denial. As a cloudy serum spouts from your neurologically assigned torture device, you come. It's not uncommon, conditioning the inner self with a painful process of neurophysical massage, which induces the process's rebirth, loving and caring and kissing and cradling an input for it to consume. We find ourselves compelled in some lingo, programmed in others, to feed it life. The gore of worldwide antagonism shifts around alongside this other process. Above our heads, we sneak. You sometimes think about bathing in the saliva, gyrating on the warmth of a death cradle, entering death through someone's mouth, maw/mouth/whatever it is traditionally called. It is one of the concrete components of this anti-human reproduction we have referred to. Brackets. Side note, death is shared and spawned at a rate that dwarfs the death you received, which is why absolution is normally argued against. Alternatively, the machine we propose is a human-constructed support system with human non-biology, and it was antibacterial, purging 99.9% of everything. 0.1% will never fail to grow in the scum, and you will never not be chased by this death process. It's a long-term process of exile through automatized denial and soap-dispensing pain signaling. Open source research paper, shared by